Hey, everybody, this is Frank Donahue from leanmeanplant.com. That's leanmeanplant.com. And I just wanted to put out a quick little podcast episode I'm going to be talking to a gentleman who's in the network marketing industry. His name is Mike Martinez. Mike is a network marketer, blogger at mike-martinez.com. That's mike-martinez.com. That's his blog. And he's also a home business trainer. Mike is also an accomplished writer and has been featured in national home business magazines. And most importantly, a personal friend of mine for years now, probably about 5 or 6 years. Me and Mike have been very, very close friends. And as a result, I consider him my personal motivator because I can think of many situations where I was down in the dumps about my business and my aspirations in life, and I was ready to give up and quit. And, I'd get on the phone with Mike and say, dude, this isn't working, blah, 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 blah. And he would talk me back through it and tell me, about, the possibilities and the opportunities and everything else if I just keep going the course. So I consider him a great friend and a personal motivator and an awesome, awesome teacher. But one of the reasons I wanted to get Mike on the phone is because when I try, because we're friends, I try to keep up close with him, read his articles, read his blog posts, and follow him because he does things right. But he recently put out an article that I just got that I had a chance to read. And as soon as I read it, I was totally moved by it, and I wanted to share it with all the listeners here today because it really, really changed my perception of things, as far as motivation, as far as, like, business and persevering. And it was an article. First of all, Mike, welcome to the call. I'm just going on and on and on. You there?
Thank you, man. I thought you were talking about somebody else there for a second.
Now, there's so much good stuff to talk about when it comes to you, man. But you had just written that article about Diane Nyad.
Right.
You remember right now? I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I mean, it was only a couple days ago. But, dude, that was an incredible story, and I couldn't wait to get on the phone and talk to you about that. First of all, to congratulate you on writing such an awesome, awesome article, because I had actually heard about her, and I follow her in the news a little bit, and I haven't been following lately, so I didn't realize she accomplished what she did. Do you want to tell that story a little bit to the people that might be listening to this call?
Yeah, absolutely. And to preface the story, let me just say that, I'm absolutely in love with my business. I'm a network marketer and an online marketer, but it's like everything that I come across, I kind of try to associate to my business. I try to come up with a link. And I was just about 2 weeks ago. This actually happened in September 2nd. I'm sitting at home drinking some coffee, looking at the news, and they just had this lady over and over and over in all the news stations because she had done something that had never been done before, which was to swim from Havana, Cuba to Florida, to Key West, Florida. And that was, again, something that was never done before. And what I thought was, a few things were spectacular about it. First of all, she started on that dream. She started on that quest to accomplish that 35 years ago. And
yeah, that was amazing, man. Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. She failed 4 or 5 times, 5 or 6 times in that attempt, and on September 2nd, she had accomplished that attempt. And what I saw there was, number one, she's obviously a very, very talented and special lady, but the key is that she focused her mind to get that task done. And, a lot of times, again, in my industry, in network marketing, we have, you start a company, you get excited, and you hear 15 no's or 25 no's or 50 no's, and that dampens your enthusiasm, and you think it's impossible, can't do it, let me just give up. And that's why there's such a high failure rate in this industry. But the fact of the matter is that if you focus your mind and you come up and start, trying to figure it out, because everybody comes in at a different skill level. So what skills do you need to acquire in order to make that success happen? That's the question that we should ask before we even consider giving up. You shouldn't consider giving up, period. You should just figure out what you need to gain, because there's a distance between where you are and the goals that you want to achieve. So in that distance, there's some skills that have to be acquired. And that's where I kind of connected that story.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And, when you were telling that story, the first thing that came to my mind was a quote by Jim Rohn, which I kind of try to live by. When the situation gets tough, first of all, network marketing is sales. I mean, look, you can call it what you want, but it's sales. Sales is hard no matter what it is you're trying to sell, you're going to get many no's before you finally start getting yeses, unless you're very highly well-connected. But the thing that Jim Rohn says that I try to always remember is, don't wish the process was easier, wish you were better, And that's the truth. I mean, you hit it right on the head. I mean, you can't wish that that it was easier, because it's not easy. It's never easy when you're trying to accomplish great things. You just need to develop the skills, like you said, along the way. Find out where you're deficient and then improve those, enhance those, and that's going to get you where you need to be. So, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Interesting enough, a couple of weeks ago, I had somebody, while I was on Facebook, putting out some messages, I had somebody send me a private message. And the message was like this. He said, hey, Mike, I know you're part of World Ventures, but look at this company. They're cheaper than World Ventures, and it's easier to do than World Ventures. And I was in World Ventures, and I couldn't get my 4. So, there you got a situation, and here's the bottom line for me.
Well, what's getting your 4? What's that mean?
Getting your 4 means that, most network marketing companies have an auto ship. With World Ventures, when you get 4 people to join you as a business partner or as a customer of your services, 4, you don't need to pay any more of your auto ship. So the focus is on getting 4, and that's really kind of like the business building system behind the company. If you get 4 and then you introduce somebody and help them get 4, and that's how it basically starts to grow. Okay. Now you don't want to stop with 4, right? You want to get as many people as you can, but 4 is a low, I think, a low goal for you to achieve. I mean, if you're serious about business, you should be able to get 4, right?
Sure,
and if you think you can't, like this gentleman said he couldn't, you should try to figure out how can you, right? Because again, 4 is not an impossible thing. So his idea was, hey, this is a cheaper business and this and that. And I'm not looking for a cheaper business. What he actually told me was, when I said, "Hey, listen, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm building and I'm growing my team and I'm focusing my team on building." His response was, "Well, you know what? I think you're doing a disservice to your group if you're not sharing with them something that is cheaper." But here's the deal. I mean, there's always going to be something cheaper. So what happens? I go and I say, according to this gentleman's strategy, hey, look, this is the new program that's $25 cheaper, right? And so everybody or whoever decides they're going to move. And then what? When the next company comes that's $10 cheaper, then I have to go and say, hey, there's another company that's cheaper. No, my focus and my responsibility as a leader within the group is to help to train the people. And the biggest problem is, of course, the mentality. You have to change what goes on in between your ears if you want to make this succeed. Everybody has 2 choices when you're facing a problem, right? And problems are simply a way of getting out of your comfort zone, because if you don't have a solution for your problem, that means in the comfort zone that you're at right now, that you don't have the skills within that comfort zone. You have to go outside of that comfort zone in order to solve the problem. So you have a choice. You have a problem. Oh, my God, I can't make this business work. So you have a choice, and you go either one, right? You can shrink to say, you know what, I don't want to face that problem. I'm good where I'm at. You know what, maybe this is not for me, right? Or you could say, you know what, I'm facing this problem. I don't know what to do about it. What skills do I need to acquire in order to meet the challenge? Because that's where it's all at, right?
That's exactly right. I mean, that's where complacency sets in, because people are afraid to take challenges on. I mean, challenges are nothing, problems are nothing more than hidden opportunities. You can approach them from a different direction. You can figure out a different skill or a tool to use, or you can sit back and do nothing, and then the problem's just going to get worse. So you're absolutely right. I mean, so like you said, you can shrink or you can face it.
Right, and that's, a lot of times people, when you're solving a problem, when you're looking at a situation and a problem, you go with the very first answer that comes into your mind, and usually the very first answer that comes into your mind is not the best answer, right? So you got to dig a little deeper, and for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's human nature, but for some reason people don't want to dig, don't want to go out there and instead of just finding that surface answer, right? I'll just quit, right? That's a surface answer. That's one of the ones that come up first. Instead of saying that, they don't want to go and put the time in and analyze the situation. And I know that you're in process improvement, so you're a guy that looks at a problem and sees what's the origination of that problem, what's the genesis of that problem, let's work on it there. In network marketing, when you have a situation like that, right, you're saying, oh, man, I'm excited about this product, but nobody wants it, right? You got to figure out where what the genesis of that is. Maybe it's your communication skills, maybe it's your selling skills, maybe it's your marketing skills, maybe it's your lead generation skills, maybe it's, just you yourself. You have to change things about yourself in order to attract the right people. So that's where you should be attacking the problem. Not, oh, you know what, ABC company just came up and wow, look, they're $10 cheaper than my company. I think I'm going to go with them. It'll be easier to sell $10 cheaper. That's not the issue, and you're going to come across the same problem. Even if you go and you sponsor 3 or 4 people, eventually you're going to come across the same problem because you haven't grown, you haven't expanded. If you shrink because of a problem, if you shrink, then your comfort zone also shrinks, right?
Yep.
If you expand, your comfort zone also expands, and you become bigger, better, and and more successful.
Yeah, that reminds me of a roofing job that I had when I first started, when I was like 20 years old. I got out of the military. I was looking to, get a job, making some money very quickly. I didn't know which direction to go in. So I ended up working as a roofer. And one of the things that you learn real quick with being a roofer, first of all, you have to have a strong back to carry the shingles up the ladder. But second of all, you have to start thinking, because what the roofers do, they prevent leaks or they fix leaks. That's basically what the job of a roofer is. So the way to prevent a leak or to find out where a leak is, I learned very quickly, is you have to think like a drop of water, And once you figure that out, well, okay, now I got to think like water. Which way would water travel? The next lesson you learn is water is always going to take the path of least resistance, And that's inherently built into us as human beings as well. And that's why people aren't willing to go down and dig deeper into the problems and find out what the solutions are. Like you said, a lot of times they take the first thing at face value, head in that direction. It's not the right approach, So you have to be able to put the time in, put the legwork in, put the brain power in to figure out what are all the possible, possible problems that we're facing, the reasons for the problems, the root causes, So that's what separates the winners from, the complacent ones,
Absolutely. And you know what, for me, network marketing, and I say this a lot, but network marketing for me is a personal development system. And it comes in the form of, vitamins and shakes and juices and weight loss and whatever, travel, in my case with World Ventures. But what you see, the companies that are out there and have longevity, companies like Herbalife and Amway, and companies like that that've been around 50 years or more, right? Mary Kay and Avon and stuff like that. Their focus is not only on the products that they're marketing, but on the personal development of the representatives that are in the company. And some people just make light of it and say, yeah, personal development. Oh yeah, Think and Grow Rich, right? And don't really get into the idea of growing as a person. And I'm telling you, that is the defining point. That's the defining issue, whether you're going to be successful in this company or in any company, because the bottom line is success happens when you, as a person, go out there and get better at handling your problems. If you're not getting better at handling your problems, you're always going to be stuck in the same situations.
Yep, no doubt about it, man. And I think that's why we gel so well together, when we talk and we brainstorm and we go over ideas and things, because, the first thing that people need to realize is that everything revolves around problems, that's what we need to do is no matter what field of work you're in, you need to become a problem solver and you need to become good at it, because the better you can solve problems, the more success you're going to have. That's the way it is. That's like a law of nature,
No doubt about it.
Well, listen, Mike, I don't want to take up too much more time, but listen, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, and great conversation, great information that we had on here, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I learn so much every time we get on the phone. So I'm going to close this out real quick. So if you want to check out more of Mike's teaching, more of Mike's writing, and read, you can read his blog posts and his articles, and you can find him at Mike-Martinez.com. That's www.mike-martinez.com. Mike-Martinez.com. Check out his good articles, and I highly, highly recommend the one that we started talking about with the woman from Florida who swam, the accomplishment that she achieved. So everybody get on there, check out Mike's blog and read his post, and reach out to him if you need some help with your network marketing business or personal development in general. So thanks again, Mike, man. It's always good to talk to you.
I appreciate it, Frank. Thank you for having me, man.
You got it, man.